And we are live on Facebook. Congratulations, Trish, for setting us up beautifully and properly. I'm Love Coach Scott Catamas, and you are watching this Friday night edition of Straight Talk. And we've got an amazing show tonight. We're going to learn all about Black Sun Day, SON. And we have with us the founder of the Black Sun Day movement, Dr. Marty Casey. We're going to learn all about her in a moment. We also have with us two extraordinary people. You might know them in any number of ways. They are Grammy-nominated reggae artists and absolutely beloved. I got to say, several of my friends said, "Oh my God, you're going to have them on your show?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Are they going to sing?" I said, "No, they're going to do something else better. They're going to inspire us." So it's really wonderful to have both Pato and Antoinette with us. And then, as always, really happy to have my partner in the show, Trish Wright.
Hi, Trish.
Trish, who makes all things happen. And I want to also welcome Peter Melton. And Peter is who introduced us. And Peter, thank you so much for introducing us to Dr. Marty. And let's get right in. I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Dr. Marty, and ask you to tell us a little bit about what's happening on Sunday. But before so, let me just introduce you to our audience. Dr. Marty Casey is a member of Actors Equity Association, and she's the founder and president of the Show Me Arts Foundation. It was the very first arts organization formed immediately after the unrest of Ferguson, Missouri. Her success has been acclaimed by numerous awards, interviews, and acknowledgments. She just did 3 interviews today prior to this show. And she's been featured on Beyonce.com and recognized by Beyonce for her work in the community. She currently serves as the St. Louis Regional Network Leader for the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment. She has a wide variety of career highlights. She sang the national anthem for an audience of 30,000 fans. She completed a 12-year successful run as a national touring actress for Menopause, the musical. And in 2018, she was inducted into the United Nations as the first female Goodwill Ambassador of Peace in the Midwest. She received her honorary doctorate and became an ambassador to Shine Ministries, Orphan Children in Uganda. She's written and produced a one-woman show sponsored by ARP and played to a sold-out theater in Brooklyn, New York, given 2 standing ovations. She's written a 7-day self-help guide instructing individuals how to journal their inner thoughts to help them tap into their own personal success. She calls herself an activist. I love that. A person with acting skill, campaigning social change from the stage. Dr. Marty, it's an honor to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Truly an honor and a pleasure to be here. And I am just looking to have a fabulous conversation with you and the rest of the panelists tonight.
Tell us about what's happening on Sunday.
Sunday is a very special moment because it is, this is the first time in history, I believe, that we have come together collectively to talk about something that has been very difficult, not just in our personal communities, but collectively around the world. And that is dealing with the racial injustice that we as African Americans, Blacks, that we endure on a daily basis. And when you take it even all the way back to historically, even 401 years ago, and you think about all of the trauma and the hurt and the pain that we have experienced, at some point in time, when are we going to say, enough is enough? But not only that, we need to sit down and we need to discuss how we are going to be able to get to a place to live with peace on earth. And the only way that we can do that is by having conversations that are hard to have and establishing positive relationships. So it is important that everyone is in the room on Black Sunday, although that is going to be the main topic. But it takes Blacks, whites, and browns, and anyone else, whatever, however you identify yourself. It takes everyone to be in the room so that we can discuss and we can respect and we can understand how we should move forward. And the only way that we're going to be able to move forward and stay in a good place is that we work on our healing. We commit to working on our healing in the process, because there have been a lot of offenses and a lot of things that have happened around the world, and we have to start with honesty and truth, forgiveness, and then we need to move into a place of healing.
Wow.
Well, I have some questions about Black Sunday specifically, and what inspired that? I mean, I know what inspired it, but I mean, can you talk a little bit about the foundational pieces around trauma and working through that?
Well, this is a very loaded topic that we're dealing with, and you have to kind of really kind of take it in layers. And I want to definitely leave room for Pato and Antoinette to weigh in on this. But I do want to say that when I look at how we are showing up in our families have truly been divided. By a lot of the social injustice and just so many different things and reasons that we have been discussing, randomly, if you will. But I'm looking at the fact that, a Black man, it is important through the structure of what my belief says is that he should be the head of the household. And him being the head of the household leaves now the mother to be able to assist and to take care of the children. And so we are all out of order, if you will, in how these things have been taking place because of the way the social structures are set up. It's made for us to fail, and it's time for that to change right now. So Black Sunday, when I think about the son, S-O-N, he grows to be the father, to be again over his household. So when the attack is on the Black son, not only do you not only do we what's the way I want to say this? I want to be politically correct here, because this is going to be replayed over and over again. So not only do we snatch the life of that individual, but we snatch the lives of everyone that is also attached to them. So we don't just kill the Black son, we kill the mother, we kill the father, we kill their offsprings, all of that just simply because the attack is on the son. So I believe that we must start. So we're talking about everyone, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, everyone. But it's the Black son, if you will, that I believe is the center to the issues that we're dealing with in our culture and in this world.
Dr. Marty, first off, I want to let you and give all of our viewers or all of our panelists freedom. The name of the show is Straight Talk. So
Okay.
we can be real. And I want to just acknowledge that horrifically, a big part of the history of this country included lynchings for the purpose of quieting people.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a white man, am painfully aware that there's a long history that lynchings were not just about killing that person, but the horror of hanging, leaving the body there to send a statement of, you do what we say, you do what the people who are in power say, or else. And so, as you were talking about how your vision for what Black Sunday, S-O-N, means to you, I just got this wave of pain as I thought about the long historical significance. Mm-hmm. And in researching to do tonight's show, I read that Black men or Black boys, teens and men, are 6 times more likely to be shot and killed by police officers than white people.
That's a true statement. And it's a horrible statement. And that is the reason that we have been protesting, and we've been showing up, and we've been speaking, and we've been pushing to change laws, and we're doing all that we possibly can to avoid things escalating to another level, which is what we've seen in history, before. And we know that is possible. But I stand on the side of peace and healing and love. And so with everything in me, I wake up every day, to empty out and to be used to ask God to push me into a place where I can make a difference and I can connect with others who are also being challenged to answer that call.
Well, speaking of others to answer the call, I want to introduce our other two celebrity guests. And it's really an honor to have you with us. Thank you so very much. This is Minister Pato Bonton and his wife, Antoinette Roots Tata. And they're, of course, world-renowned Grammy-nominated reggae musicians. But tonight they're here as ordained ministers for Christ Michael. They're students, teachers, and international ambassadors of the Urantia book. And I'd love to just briefly maybe tell people a little bit about the Urantia book. I was introduced to it a long time ago. It's a fascinating document. They're recipients of the Unity Earth Keepers of the Flame Award. They're officially appointed Goodwill Ambassadors of the Golden Rule. They're official members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. It's a dynamic and visionary project of the Source of Synergy Foundation. They're members of the Global United Religions Initiative and recent recipients of the URI Hermes Award for creative collaboration and communication with other cooperative circles around the world. Likewise, just as we saw how Dr. Marty is an activist, certainly Pato and Antoinette combined their celebrity and their talent as creative expression artists with extraordinary number of ways that they're working in community and as activists. So God bless you both for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our primary purpose tonight is really to support Dr. Marty Casey, who we are in love with, and we admire very much for her enthusiastic ambassadorship and leadership in this role. My wife is also an amazing woman who I'm supporting in her many leadership roles right now, but I'm going to let her, chime in now while I, support her too.
Black Lives Matter. You did. You did say this, Scott. And so, as I've been speaking all week since moving into a lot of different areas and everything, Black Lives Matter, and we want to amplify Black Lives Matter worldwide and amplify Black lives and Black voices. We're in this together. We're here to support in each other. And as Black people, we are not a monolith. We are a diverse group of Black people. So even though you have, me and Pato and Marty, and even when she made her statement of the Black men as the head, we are a partnership. There is no head in this household.
Actually, there is. She just doesn't know about it.
I'm the boss.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm the boss, but
yes, ma'am.
Publicly, the queen. But we work in partnership because we have to bounce and feed off of each other. We support each other in everything that we do, and that takes a partnership. Not everybody may agree, and that's okay. Whatever works in your family, go with it, run with it, be positive, move forward and progress in life. But, with us, it's a partnership,
I want to actually put out to all of you, this is something that I believe strongly. My mentor taught me that actually in an ideal marriage, the man provides the safety for the woman to be able to relax and be the receptor for divinity to come through. And so it really is just as the woman gives birth, physically to children, likewise, the woman, when she is safe, when she has that safe nest, can then be a clear channel for spirit to flow through and provide the wisdom, provide the guidance that then is backed up by the strength of the man. So that's kind of how I always view it.
I'd like to, when before me and Antoinette got married, I was married previously and my wife had 4 children for me. And in that role with my first wife, 4 children is many, 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 many months of pregnancy, many months and healing from giving birth. And with my first wife, I was definitely the head of the house. I was the provider. I wasn't above her, but as far as being the provider, and being the one to go out there and, make sure that everything was in order, and that she was comfortable to bring our children into this world and to, suckle them. My role was to be the head of the house. With me and Antoinette's marriage, when we came together, we didn't have any children. We don't have any children together. So we came together as two partners. We came together as business partners, as ministers, joint ministers, as everything in partnership. And Antoinette will be the first one to tell me that she's the boss. Now, in this scenario, I'm okay with that because she's not in hospital. I don't have to go and pick her up with a new baby, on her breast. She's out there, she's a go-getter. She's more of a go-getter than I am, so it is an equal relationship. The Urantia book teaches us that on some planets, the women are the head of the home and the men play a supportive role. On our planet, we normally consider the men as the head of the house. But, as we move forward, I can see more and more that women will be treated with more respect, because women has also been, just like Black people have been struggling for respect, and eventually, once the races blend, I believe there will be an end of racism. And when everybody on the planet gets slim, there will be an end of fatism. But I don't think there will ever be an end of sexism, because there will always be male and female. That will not come until all the men on this planet are spiritually motivated and recognize the true value of women and treat them as an equal partner.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say too, because we are talking about Black Sunday, just the title alone, it's about mothers giving birth to these sons
and losing them.
Exactly. You cannot do this without the woman. You cannot, the women are leading the movements. The women are coming forward and leading the protests. The women are getting the community and the organizations behind them in all the works that they do. So that is the woman that is being the forefront, and the men are coming to protect them. Yes. And to support them and to ally with them and getting the people. But it's the women who are really starting to lead, as you see the mothers, that Marty's going to be bringing in on Sunday, who have been standing out there on the front line. If anybody's watching, all you have to do is just look up all the imagery, and you will always see the pain and the anguish of the mothers, because they are feeling it and they know what it's like. And then even with the mothers with the Wall of Moms, they're like, and it's weird, because when you sit there and see white women sitting there saying, I will burn this place down if you do anything to my son. That's how mothers feel. So this planet could not be created without the mothers, could not be done without the moms. All of the species on this planet is done male and female. All of the plants and the animals and the human beings and Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, all of those things, I don't care what anybody wants to believe, you cannot do that without the mother, without the mom, so Black Sunday is because the mothers of the sun, the mothers of this universe, the mothers of this planet, the mothers of animals and nature and human beings.
On the subject of mothers and moms, can you please share what you're doing with the Wall of Moms in Portland?
Oh, so it's going to be a very interesting and crazy. It's a long drawn out process, but the leadership has changed over, and like with the different things that we've been doing with our organizations, people have asked us to participate and to join and to lead. And right now, at this moment, they have asked me to join and to lead. And I'm partnering up with women locally and women nationally and women internationally, Black women, to support Black Lives Matter, so that way we can amplify Black voices. So that way the world also understands, because there's a lot of bad media and press. And even when the press first came out with the story that I was taking over, it was still slighted. you know, the press was taking it from a white person to come, you know, if we're going to be straight, this is straight talk. The press will sit there and slant it as a certain way, because some press will sit there and say the movement is being usurped by white people, usurping the Black movement and profiteering and taking over our movement. And then when we come in, then they make it slighted on us that we went over there and took over these white women and did whatever. So I'm here to sit there and say that's not what has happened. You know, I've been asked to help, and the people have asked me to step up and lead and to provide leadership, you know, with Black voices being amplified.
So let me just add to this. The Wall of Moms, which I'm sure most of you have seen in Portland, Oregon, became the defense, the front line defense for the protesters, with the hopes that the federal agents would see a wall of white mothers, elderly white mothers, arm in arm at the front of the process, and that the federal agents would be gentle and show them some respect. But instead, these grannies and middle-aged women were tear-gassed and beaten and rubber bullets shot at them, just like anywhere else across America. And these mothers were hurt. They grew, the organization Wall of Moms grew so quickly that the original organizers were overwhelmed. And they tried to rush to establish a legal organization, and they made some terrible mistakes. And there was a lot of friction within the Wall of Moms and also within the Black mothers who were supposed to be primarily supported by the white Wall of Moms. And the dispute became so ugly that there was no communication between all of them anymore. Antoinette was watching it. I was watching Antoinette watching the Wall of Moms every night, fascinated by these old white ladies and Black people linking arms, standing on the front line. And she's like, watch this, Pato, take a look at this, take a look at that. The next thing I know, she makes a song for them. And I edit the video for Antoinette's tribute to the Wall of Moms. The Wall of Moms gets this video and they say, Antoinette, thank you so much for your interest in what we're doing and for this tribute to our movement. Is there any way we can have a conversation with you? So they had a conversation with Antoinette, and it ended up that they said, Antoinette, we are in a mess. We need someone of color to come in and fix this mess. And Antoinette at first was like, yeah, happy to be an administrator of your Facebook group. And they said, no, we want you to be the leader.
Wow.
Wall of Moms, officially the leader, and take over the business and the infrastructure and the 5013 charity and everything, and please amend it and fix it. So for the past week, Antoinette has been picking up the pieces, bringing people back together, answering difficult questions, not getting any sleep, losing 10 pounds in the process, creating a new leadership infrastructure of majority Black with a third white participants, and Wall of Moms is back on track and at peace with everybody. So I want to give my wife a round of applause, even though I've been suffering loss of sleep in the process, and I'm pretty frustrated, but baby, I am so proud of you.
Thank you. This is the first time you're saying this. But like, so while I'm here to support Dr. Marty Casey, and that's why I wanted to let everyone know, I'm here to support Dr. Marty Casey.
We are
here to support Dr. Marty Casey. The Wall of Moms is here to support Dr. Marty Casey. And with the Ungun Institute, with Black Sunday, we want all eyes and attention and focus on where we are heading. And so as she's doing this, and with all Black women worldwide, we want to come and lend our support as any way that we can, you know. So Dr. Marty, you know, lead us, you know, we are here to support you and back you.
I really appreciate that. And I feel like I'm kind of all talked out today. And so I just want to say this. I appreciate everything that everyone is doing all around the world, because it's going to take all of us to do what we are doing. However, I don't want to lose focus of the reason that we are here in this very moment, and that is about Black Sunday and what we are going to do, not just on Sunday, but how we move forward on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and 365 days from then. That is so important to me. I've been a part of a lot of protests for a long time, and I have not really seen us move the needle with the protesting. If we have, we would not have seen this happen in Ferguson with Mike Brown. We would not have seen it happen with George Floyd. We would not see what we continue to see. So for me, Black Sunday is more than just how we're showing up to respond to once our Black boys and men have been murdered. I need to know what we are able to come together to collectively create to keep it from happening. So respectfully, I appreciate the work that you're doing, Antoinette, and the Wall of Moms and all of the protesters. I'm a protester, so I'm an activist. So I appreciate all the work that we're doing around our communities. But man, we got to push it past that. We got to get past it.
Yeah, and I'll chime in real quick here because it was just so powerful to meet Dr. Casey, and I got moved instantly when she shared about ungunning and about the trauma bullets. So Dr. Marty, I'd love for you to share a little bit more about this framing that you have about how we take in the individual and collective trauma and then how those bullets stay there and then they get shot back out. And I think that framing really, really goes to the point.
I'm gonna be real brief on this. I have a video that I'll be showing to open up the program on Sunday. And we were out with the Peace Pole, Pookie and I, and Karen in St. Louis, Missouri, and we were taking the Peace Pole around the community, just trying to restore peace, love, and positive energy back into the community in real time. And so in doing so, we came to an area where what we call the Delmar Divide. And the Delmar Divide here in St. Louis is a very known, specific historical place where you can see the shift from one side of the street to the next side of the street of where it's been where Blacks have basically had less than, and then go right across the street and it looks like you have landed in this rich area. So in the process of that, we landed there, and then on the bus stop there was a Black man who obviously had a black eye, and he was catching the bus on his way to work, and he obviously had been crying, and he asked me if I would pray for him, and I said, well, sure, sir. What's going on? He said, I just lost my mom. And he was I would say he's in his he's about 50 something years old, and he says, I didn't even realize that I loved the lady. He says, until now that she's gone. And he said, she never told me who my father was. And does that make me a bastard? Hell yeah. Those was his words specifically.
Wow.
A 50-something-year-old man sitting on the bus stop, just lost his mother, was deeply affected by the trauma bullet of him never knowing his father. And the one person who could have possibly ungunned him or provided him that information, she's gone on. So the hurt and the pain that was exuding him was beyond words. So not only did I begin to speak life into him, but I also started to sing to him. And I use the arts, which is one of the reasons that I really love Antoinette and Pato, and I asked them to be on here because of their artistic genius. When we can use the arts to ungun someone, that means being able to pull out deep-rooted trauma that's inside of individuals, because it's not so much the guns that we're using with real bullets and shooting and killing each other. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. But it starts with the root issue. It starts with the guns that's inside of their hearts and the trauma bullets that they carry every day inside of their heart. Can you imagine? Now I'm adding to this story, but I'm trying to take you somewhere. Can you imagine that man that day? He got on the bus and someone might have said something to him that made him trigger. And he pulled out a gun and shot him. And we then would have realized his backstory would have been he just lost his mother. He never knew his father. He done been in a fight where somebody has blacked his eye. And that's when we realized, oh my goodness, what's going on with everybody in America? It starts with the fact of how they show up every single day and we miss the signs. We have to start paying attention to people's body language. We have to pay attention to them screaming even when we don't hear the voice. We have to show up and love on our people and help them now before they pick up a real gun. A real weapon has no power unless you pick it up and you misuse it. And you misuse it simply because you are emotionally distraught. Every day we dealing with COVID-19. We dealing with the racial injustice all throughout the thread of our lives. And we dealing with the protesting. I had to come away from protesting so that I could try to create something that would allow my energy to be more positive. So I'm for all forms of however we need to do this. And that's why it's called Ungun Institute, because it allows everybody to bring their genius and their talents to the table. I can't reach everybody. Pato Antoinette can't reach everybody. Dr. Deb can't reach everybody. But if Pato, Antoinette, Dr. Marty, and Dr. Deb come together, we will reach everybody.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I just want to reiterate something that you were saying about collective wounding and collective trauma that we've been recycling it for almost centuries right now.
Yeah.
Like, we've really been creating the same story in our sons and our daughters in our lineage. And, you know, Scott facilitates Love Coach Academy, which is a compassionate communication based collective of beautiful coaches and people. And that's what he's always stepping forward with. How can we understand each other more? Mm-hmm. How can we see each other more? How can we feel each other and our wants and needs and really foster that bond of human connection, right? I love the terminology of the Ungun Institute. I really love that concept. And I'm curious about if you all can talk a little bit about preventative maintenance or preventative, how do we show up as a community of humans, show up and really take care of our sons and our daughters and each other in this sense? Like, how do we show up and how do we make the biggest impact? How do we hold each other?
So for me, it starts with relationship building better relationships that starts inside of your home, that then transfers outside of your home, that then floods throughout the community, that continues to thread throughout the world. You have to start with self, and you have to start inside of your own home. It's so important to do that. So again, the work with ungunning, that's a personal work that you have to be willing to do. You can't just, you can't expect someone else to respect you and you're not respecting yourself. And one of the other things that I want to say is that it's about knowing your history. You have to know who you are and what you come from, because that will help you to establish your worth. I didn't know that I was worth anything by the way that things were showing up in my household. I grew up in a home where my father was an alcoholic and he was abusing my mother. So as a little girl, it just pushed me down. It pushed me all the way down. So I had to fight to realize that I was worth something. And I tell my story everywhere I go. I even have a one-woman show that I play or what have you. But the bottom line is this. As a little girl, I took my baby dolls, my Barbie, and my Skipper and my Ken. And I would hear my mother and father fighting. And I wanted my mother to win. So what I would do is recreate that story. I take that Barbie doll and I make Barbie kick Ken's butt. And then me and Skipper, we would fly off on the Barbie airplane and we go somewhere in my mind. But what I was doing, I was strengthening myself from the inside. So what I realized later on in my adult life is that that creative play, when we use the arts, theater, music, poetry, dance, DJ, engineering, when you use those tools to be able to build confidence up in children. I was talking to a 50 something year old man on the bus stop, but really I was talking to probably a 7 or 8 year old child.
That's right.
He was stuck. He was stuck. And so when you use music to have that imagery where they can see who they are and where they come from and where they can go, it's so important. It's a blueprint. Pato, I've said to you several times now that your video, Black Lives Matter too, it is a history lesson. You don't even have to do, you don't even have to have a curriculum to go along with that. All you need to do is have the device to be able to play that video and have a conversation with people afterwards, and not just a conversation with Black children, but with white children and brown children, because everyone needs to take accountability for what they are witnessing.
Mhm. Thank you. Yes. Amen. Amen. I'm going to go ahead and lead Pato into this because she's absolutely right. As we hear the statements that's coming out, and this is a lot of discussion that we have to have with a lot of people regarding, just, stopping the nuclear family. It takes a village to raise a family. Me and Marty have discussed several times with each other about our different pasts and our different upbringings. So with her upbringings was different from mine because in my own family, we have very strong male presence. Everybody's uncles, cousins, nephews, aunties, everybody's business is all up in your business. With my daughter, raising my child, I could not raise my daughter by myself. It took an army. It took a village of people. She got so many people watching out for her. Me growing up, when I go to my families, we have an army of people, to make sure you don't hang out with the wrong people or do the wrong things or different things. It takes the whole family and community. With Pato's experience and with him being without a father, when he was on tour at the height of his career, he's traveling the world with Sting on private airplanes. He's out there with Peter Gabriel, all these different things. This is the man who was beaten by the police, sent to prison for a crime he did not commit. The police knocked his mama's teeth out. And even after what the police had done to him, he still left his career, and through music, after 6 years, he sat there and came back to his community to work within his own community to defund to bring down the gun violence within his own city. So Pato, please tell them how you did this, because this is something that's important as well within our own community, is like while we're fighting the police and while we're working with the police. There's a lot of different layers to this.
Well, I didn't really want to talk about myself, but basically while I was doing a world tour with Peter Gabriel's organization, WOMAD, I had just been nominated for a Grammy and invited to LA for my album Life is a Miracle. I got a phone call that 2 of my sons were shot in a drive-by shooting where they were only 9 and 10. And they were they saw a masked gunman with a shotgun sneaking up on one of the parents waiting outside of the children's center. So they ran to the car to tell the driver, to tell the father in the car that there's somebody with a shotgun sneaking behind your car. And just as they told the guy, the guy with the gun appeared, put the gun to the window, the driver pushed his seat back, and the guy fired the shotgun, and it missed the driver and went through the car, tore the roof off of the car, and hit my two boys on the other side of the car. But thank God they survived. They saved somebody's life, but they survived. They will always have those bullets in them for the rest of their life, or the pellets, but they saved somebody's life and they survived, thank God. And during this WOMAD tour that I was doing, one of the requirements that Peter Gabriel had of us was that in each country we went to, that we would go to an underprivileged community and do a music workshop. So we went to prisons on the Canary Island, Singapore, Malaysia. We went to the poorest town in South Africa, Soweto, and did music workshops in a very dangerous area. We went to Australia and did some music workshops with some of the Aborigines, which was beautiful. And there I was touring the world, doing all this stuff for communities. And I didn't have any time to do anything for my own community where I grew up, which had its own problems. So I told my band, I told my manager, I told the record company, guys, I realize I have to go back and do something for my community. I've been getting dreams about it for months. And now that my boys have been shot, I understand what this is about. So I went back to England, took my recording studio and set it up in the poorest community. Then the safety team of my city, the police safety department, asked if I would become the leader of a 16 organization incentive in 16 different communities to set up exactly what I had set up in my community, just smaller. I agreed to do this. And just as we were launching it, the landlord of my building asked me to leave because they didn't want the kids off the street in their building after I spent a year renovating the building. And so I was like, wow, what am I gonna do? And just as I looked up to the skies to ask God, what am I gonna do? Two white ladies appeared and said, are you Pato Banton? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, is this where you're gonna have your music school? I said, yes. They says, we would love you to be a satellite for our college. I'm the principal of the college just down the road. I'm like, I would love to be a satellite for you, but we do not have a building anymore. We just got evicted. And the principal says, we will host you.
Wow.
I says, I will take the offer if you will also employ my staff who've just worked with me for a year to do this. She said, yes. I says, one more thing. I need a classroom for the kids on the street so that they can come into the college, do a level 1 course, and be qualified to do any course that they want in the entire college. The principal said yes. Once we set that up, we became the leading department in the college. I became the head of the music department, even though I left school with no grades. And even though my team was unqualified, within the 6 months it took them to set up our music department, we all were qualified and educated and ready for the task. And then once that was set up, the police department approached me and asked me to do a project with them called, I think it was Project Ventara, to help reduce gun crime across the entire city. And I accepted the offer. I had to go into the most dangerous parts of my city with the most murderous gang members with a smile on my face and try and convince them to come back to the college that I was teaching at and to do a driving lessons, but to also do the written test in the college. And within 11 to 12 months, we had something like 70 gang members in the college and working on an album together called Stop the Guns. And we did 20 videos to the 20 songs that they wrote for this album. Some of the songs they wrote together. And after that, the BBC invited me to their headquarters at the Birmingham City Centre and awarded me with a Lifetime Achievement Award for helping to reduce gun crime by 50% across my city. Nobody had told me about what had been achieved until that moment. And so music was my only tool. I had no grades, no qualifications, just a career of music. And I was able to bring that to my community and make positive changes. So, you know, just like Dr. Marty is saying, you know, whatever talents we have. And Antoinette always loves to say, you know, what is it you love to say? Whatever talents you have, you can use it to serve mankind.
Well, you're the one who taught me that. It says whatever your earthly occupation is, you can do God's will in any earthly occupation.
Yeah, I taught you it, but you say it more than me now. So, you know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a musician to serve the community. You know, you can do anything. But the main thing is that you have a love for humanity and that you want to see change and that you're willing to step out of your comfort zone to help other people. Now, the last thing I want to say, because I wasn't going to talk about myself, but what I was going to say related to the question that, what's her name asked? What's her name again?
Trish.
Yeah, Trish. Regarding the question that Trish asked about what can we do, you know, what I always like to tell people is that everyone has a circle of influence. It doesn't matter if it's just the people in your home, just your friends at school, or a community that you live in, or if you are in social media and you are an influencer, then everyone that's in your circle of friends, in your social media profile page or group, is a part of your circle of influence. Your posts, the things you say, the way you live can influence them. And like I said, it doesn't matter how small or big that group is. All of us have a circle of influence. If your objective and your purposes in life is to bring peace to your circle of influence, to bring education to them, to bring love to them, to reach out to them to make sure that they're all doing okay, to let them know that you value them and that you love them and that you care about them, that has such an amazing and lasting effect on people that you cannot quantify it. You cannot measure it, but it does mean something to people. The other day I went on Facebook and told 10,000 people, here's my phone number. And if you ever need me, if you feel like committing suicide, you're feeling depressed, you got problems in your relationship, call me and I will be there for you anytime. And I got so many private messages, not to call people. I got no prank calls, and I put my number out there. But the amount of people that sent me private messages to say, Pato, thank you. Just knowing that you care has had an impact in my life and on my heart. So, you know, we can serve our circle, and then when my circle reaches Antoinette's circle, and Antoinette's got all the beautiful women in her circle. When my circle touches her circle, and our circle touches Peter's circle, and Peter's circle touches Marty's circle, and when all of our circles of influence have been positively touched by us, and we come together, it's a beautiful party.
It really is. And because, you know, and through Marty, you know, through our support with Marty and everything. So anybody who's watching this video right now live, and then when they do start to share this video, we're going to encourage you. You all have your circles. Tag somebody, share with a friend, drop in, you know, I personally don't like dropping things in Messenger because I know everybody's bombarded, but just tag them, share, ask your friends to share, everybody else to share. And we want everybody to share right now. Come Sunday, Black Sunday, August 9th, you know, to see what's happening with the Ungun Institute, see what we're doing, because we're all in support of this. All of our circles are all in support of this. So help us support
somebody
each
else
other by supporting and coming and showing up Sunday, August 9th, Black Sunday.
Thank you for that, Antoinette, because it is important that we help somebody help someone else. We're asking you to share this information, not just for yourself, for you to tune in, but to share it with someone else. I guarantee you there's someone in your circle right now that needs to be tuned in on Sunday. And because you've shared this is the only way that they would know about it. And they're going to find themselves landing in the right place at the right time and receiving the help that they need.
You know, along those lines, Every Sunday, I do a show. I do a lot of Love Coach Academy. We do a lot of online shows. Friday night is kind of where we talk about dynamic stuff. Saturday night, we have our big inspirational variety show where we have people like Reverend Michael Beckwith and Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williamson coming on along with musicians. And it's an inspirational variety show. And we wrap it up on Sunday mornings with what I call Sacred Sundays, which is just how do we make any Sunday sacred? And it's non-denominational, but just recognizing there's many ways for us to worship, many ways for us to be devotional. I definitely want to dedicate this Sunday's program to the kickoff and moving this forward. So I know you're all going to be busy, but if any of you could come on even for 5 minutes, that'd be great. And if not, I'll show some clips from tonight's show, pull some clips to show. And just want to really thank all of you for the incredible story, Pato, that you just told. And just everybody's dedication to doing the right thing. And there's so much attention that goes on a certain crazy unnamed person that's in Washington, D.C.
You just ruined the show tonight, Scott.
I didn't mention their name. I'll let the imagination take over.
Hey, Scott, since you did say this is straight talk, can I be straight with you?
Absolutely.
All right, since this is a straight talk, I'm asking you, you have your shows, you have your platform, you have your circles. I'm asking you to make a commitment to us and Dr. Marty to amplify Black voices. I'm asking you to help us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be us, to help amplify Black voices, to set aside some time to help us get our voices out there. Whenever, once a month or a week or whatever times that you're doing your show and your viewers are tuning in, that you would sit there and say, I'll give some time and let these people speak and share their stories. I can find you all kinds of people. It doesn't always have to be us. But I'm asking you, so I'm asking you straight up right now, live.
You got it. And actually, I'm very proud to say that Trisha and I did 3 straight weeks during Black Lives Matter, 3 straight weeks, nothing but leaders from the African-American community.
Awesome.
We just shut up and listen. We did on my Saturday night live show, we did an entire show on Black voices. And it's not just during that time. Trish has a show she does every Thursday morning on self-love. And her guest 2 weeks ago was Michael Dyer, who wrote the book Woke. It is a beautiful Black man and leader in the community. So we have been doing it and we will continue to do that.
We sure do. Thank you for that.
I have a question. Scott.
Yes.
Since this is straight talk,
We can be straight.
Uh-oh.
I want to know, Scott, is that really your hair?
Yes, I've totally touched his hair. It's really fabulous.
I want to know, is that really your hair, brother? Because I'm jealous.
Oh my
They're
God,
not
it
bad
is.
for 64 years old, yeah?
Beautiful, beautiful.
When people say, well, why do you let your hair grow so long? I said, because I can. Oh, thank you
So
for that.
Scott, I as I was saying earlier, I think before we even start the taping, that I'm real big on the takeaway. I really don't like to come and talk about this type of heavy stuff and leave people with not knowing what's next, what else they can do. So I want to invite those who have been listening, and if you find yourself identifying with some of the things that we're talking about tonight, I want to make sure that we left room to say to you that you can go to unguninstitute.com. We are setting up workshops, healing workshops that will take place virtually. So this will be inclusive to anyone, no matter where you are. We can come into your home, into your living room, and we want to be able to provide the help that you may need. We may not know your story, just like I shared a little bit of my story. Pato shared a little bit of his story. And so we've been honest about the trauma that we have experienced, but because of what we do in terms of showing up as artists or what have you, we've been able to ungun those trauma bullets. I mean, we want to teach and help somebody else how to do that as well. So if you are in a place and you don't have Pato's personal number, I want you to go to unguninstitute.com. That's my brother, excuse me, that's on the picture with me. That's my brother when he was getting out of jail. The very first day he was released from prison, and I was handing him a card. And just the other day, I was helping my brother. He's 2.5 years older than me, and I was helping him to ungun. That's Leslie McSpadden, which is Mike Brown's mother, who will be on the presentation at 2 o'clock. Shirley Murdoch will Pato's video will play, and hopefully he will share his story even on Sunday. And then Shirley Murdoch will be singing, and then we will have Leslie McSpadden along with Wanda Johnson, who her son is Oscar Grant. You all may be familiar with her as well. So we have a power packed lineup, if you will, of individuals coming from all over the world, like I said, to share their stories and to talk about how to move forward and heal. I don't want to get stuck too much on the stories, but I want to push us to a place of how can we make things better for everybody. That's what's so important right now. So I was sharing with you my brother when he got out of jail that day, and just the other day he was over here to the house, and my brother said something. He says, I probably would have turned out different, but nobody ever came to my basketball games.
Oof.
And my brother shot and killed someone 25 years ago who threatened our family. And then after that cycle of being in jail, he ended up having to go back a second time. And the first time that he went to jail, the first person he saw on the yard, if you will, was our grandfather.
Wow.
So when I talk about trauma, and when we talk about the generational curses that's overtaking us, mentally and physically and spiritually, we have to do something about it. If we don't, who will? And if we don't do it now, when?
Last week we had on one of my shows, Jayu Tal, who's a famous kirtan artist, and he played a beautiful song that he recently did called Beyond the Walls. And it's all about what's happening in San Quentin right now, where, the COVID thing is just decimating the prison population, and no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. Mm-hmm. And, it's so easy for us to just create this kind of disposable culture. And I've been very involved in the prison system, and I won't get started on that story. But, thank you for bringing that up, because people in prison are human beings, mm-hmm. and almost all of them are there because their circumstances led them there.
It led up to it, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And it's like what you were saying before, we have to start with ourselves and building strong self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And self-esteem doesn't just magically appear, right? It's something that has to be cultivated. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't grow up with a father, when you grow up surrounded by crime, when you grow up surrounded by poverty, as my mother used to always say, but for the grace of God, there go I. And anyone that we might judge, if we had had their genetic background, their family background, their history, their life, who's to say that we would not have made the exact same choices they did? So we should never, ever judge anybody, right? Except for maybe the idiot in the White House. Oh, I had to get that in there.
There you go again, Scott, right when I was going to share this. I don't know. But yes, again, thank you so much. And you're right. It's all about choices. If we don't, that's the reason that I started Show Me Arts Academy after Ferguson, because I heard that Michael Brown, he wanted to become a rapper. And so I was thinking, well, how was that going to happen in his community when we had nothing around him that allowed him to go into the studio and someone to, teach him how to do this, just like what Pato was talking about, what he did back in London. If you don't have those resources available and accessible to them, then that's not a choice. That's not a choice. So if all they have is negative choices to choose from, are we really faulting those children? We got to take the blame for that. We have to take the blame for that. So that is the reason I poured every dime that I had into Show Me Arts Academy. And that is the reason Beyonce was impressed with what I did. And it wasn't for show. It wasn't to be recognized. It was to say, you know what? I was once a child like that. And what saved me was music. How can I give it back? So I'm challenging everybody, anyone that's listening right now. If you want to be able to give back to another child who is just like me, just like the children you heard about in Ferguson, just like the children that you see showing up in Portland right now, just like the children that you've seen in Minnesota, because these young kids, they're not taking it. They're standing up and they're saying, "Oh no, we're doing it different this time. We're doing that. We're taking it to the streets." So if you don't like the choices that they're making right now, give them another choice.
Yeah.
Give them another choice.
Mm.
And the way that you do that, you put your money where your mouth is. You give to organizations that's out here doing the work. So it's not just my organization. We're not the only ones with organizations. There are other organizations that's doing the work. But if you can't find one, go to unguninstitute.com and hit the donation button. And I will make sure that we put the money on healing these children. I took 20 children to give them the experience, because experience outlasts emotions, but emotions and the feelings is what they respond to. That's the reason that they picking up a gun, because in that moment they're hurt. In that moment they've been bullied. In that moment they feel like, you hurt me again. And I've already come from that. And that's what they respond to. But if you can create an experience that lasts longer. So I took 20 children from 17 different zip codes in the city of St. Louis, all different walks of life. Some had two parents, some had none, some was adopted, some whatever, different types of children. But they had the same experience when I took them to Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and New York, put a mic in their hand, and I had them to sing. I had them to sing to senators. I had them to sing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and the Dr. King Memorial. And I had them to sing in truck stops, and I had them to sing in restaurants. And when they were able to do that and amplify their voice and realize that they had the power to change anything, those same children right now, they're the ones leading the protest in St. Louis, because who they learned it from? They learned it from Dr. Marty Casey, who took them by the hand and showed them how to use their voice.
God bless you for that. God bless you. And people asking how to get a hold of you. So if you go into the unguninstitute.com, just where it says about us or contact us, right here, get in touch with Dr. Marty, give her name, email, phone numbers, send a message, boom. And that's how you can learn more about her. And definitely, this is a very important website to go and to visit. Let's all work on all the different ways of disarming trauma.
Thank you. And this is collective work. I just want to say this. I want to thank whoever's asking for that, but this is collective work. I am not going to just be the one that is going to make myself available to you. I am partnering with Pato and Antoinette. We're partnering with other artists, and we're partnering with other trauma doctors and what have you. We have to do this work collectively. This is not a one man's band. So I want to thank whoever's asking, and I promise you that you will see as many of us that we can bring together to service the people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We're
Well,
here to support. You just tell us what you need, Dr. Marty. You tell us what you need.
We got to build what Pato had in London. What Pato had in London, we got to build that again where you are in California. And the reason being, like I said, when we can take children that are struggling in other areas and we can pull them out of their communities, you got to remove them from the source of the pain. And you got to take them somewhere else in order for them to have a different experience. And that's where we do the ungunning. And when you are able to reset those babies and you change their minds, their body and spirit, and you allow that to be centered again and connected, then you bring them back. What they do, not only do they show up better, but then it's just like COVID-19. They have a chance to now infect someone else. It's transferable. Energy is transferable. So if I can transform you so that you can go back and touch somebody else and infect them, that's how we change the world. That's how we ungun everybody.
Yes. And I want to expound on that, because, since I've got involved with the Wall of Moms just this past week, and this is so amazing, because oh my God, look at all these white people who want to help Black people. Oh my gosh, what a great opportunity. We've been getting emails and calls. We're trying to divert all this information, but there have been white men, because I saw a video from somebody who was protesting in Portland from a Black man. He said, after all the the marching, the protesting is done, where do we go from here? He said, you know what we need? We need economic justice. We need job equality. We need you to hire us into your corporations. We need you to give us the access. And I was explaining to people when I worked in corporate New York, all the Black men who had degrees, all in the basement. They work in the basement. They have degrees and they cannot get above the basement. And everywhere else is just white corporate structure. They might include a few Black women here and there because of affirmative action. But if you notice in California, in the Silicon Valley, they actually, Black and Latino have graduated top of the class. They're the most that graduated top of the class, but they are the least that are actually hired in Google and Facebook and all these different industries. So this is where we need economic justice. This guy said, you know, teach me how to hold a camera. Teach me how to do this. Give me an opportunity. Give me an internship. Give me something, you know, so that way I could work towards this. This is like economic equality. This is the discussion that we need to start having and how we can start supporting each other. And I was amazed to sit there and see people actually volunteering and said, you know something, here's my company. Let me help you. Let me support you. Bring these people to me. Ex-cons, you know, I will give them a job. I will bring them into interns, to the Black youth, from the gang community, from the Black underprivileged and everything else. This is what we're talking about. So we have to work together. We all know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can do something, and we can start to shift and change the level of systematic racism. You know, so that's why I need Marty and everybody else to, like, let's lift up our voices and see how we can help each other and get the word out there that things can be done through positive change.
Absolutely. I just want to acknowledge all the people who've been watching, and those of you watching the video replay, which should be most of you. But a couple of quick comments. Terry, actually, I'll start with Lauren. Lauren says, thank you for this incredible positive messages. And she says, you know, this was Martin Luther King's other message, I believe, that proof is in the pudding, invest the money for equal opportunity. And then Terry, also one of our viewers, writes, do they still have the Fresh Air Fund in New York City? And is there something like this going on in other cities? It would be great if public access TV would do outreach. Well, we are public access TV. Welcome to, you know, this is the new world. That's why Trish and myself and my other partners in Love Coach Academy, we're doing 2 or 3 free webinars a day, getting information like this out to the world, helping people with relationships. So this is public access now. And go live on Facebook, start a watch party. Take this very show, start a watch party tonight, tomorrow, you know, save it and start a watch party. And anybody can go to Love Coach Academy page and you'll see all of the shows that we've done recently. Maybe you'll show Trisha's self-love show, or the show that we did last week, all about yoga and transformation in that way. It's a lot of different things that we're doing. Let's get it out there. And yes, I will commit to at least once a month. You send me the people, I'll put them on either Straight Talk or one of our other shows, I promise. All right.
So Scott, I want to answer her question. She was asking, was there anything like that in New York?
Yes.
We can be anywhere. We can be wherever you are. And so on Sunday, we will be introducing the Ungun Institute Heal workshops. And you have an opportunity to even get into those early workshops for a discounted price through midnight of Tuesday. So for 2 days, we're gonna set that up, and we'll be in the conversation room. I want you to be able to talk about that, Peter, if you don't mind. But we'll be in the conversation room this Tuesday. And so from Sunday, when we present this, to Tuesday, going into the conversation room, we're going to be excited to say how many people have actually signed up for the workshops. And we're going to be announcing that in the conversation room, because it's important that we do the work. We can say all day long, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. But when are we going to start doing what's right, what's right, what's right? We say hurting people hurt people, but I say healed people can heal people. That's the part we have to get to. And the only way we're going to do that is by, you know, confessing and saying, you know what, I need a little help. I need a little help. And come on and take this workshop and have those tools that you will have for the rest of your life. I show up this way now in life because I learned how to ungun myself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Marty. And that next step, like you say, that the Sunday is going to be a beautiful presentation and so much energy and ideas and feelings. And then what do we do with them, right? And it's been an honor to work with you these last few weeks to frame out how can we, what is that next step? How do we move your programs down the road? How do we partner? How do we get the folks who get inspired to be able to then take the next step? And so Sunday after the program, we're going to have a post-event conversation where folks can come and connect with each other, connect with some of the guests, and make those activation moments happen where you meet somebody who's in your own town or somebody who has a similar idea, and you link together and start moving things forward. And then because it gets a little late on Sunday, we're going to go again on Tuesday night. And these things happen at a website called theconversation.cc. When you go there, there's a Zoom link, and that takes you to our program. And right now we're over 12 hours a day live every day, Zoom operators, Zoom family, Zoom tribe for transformation, theconversation.cc. It's on right now. We do 24 hours on Fridays. And we're going to be 24 hours soon every day, where you can go and connect with folks. And so when we do this for an after party, like we'll do it for your show, like we did for Hiroshima the other day, 75-year reunion, that folks get a chance to connect, much like at a physical event where you have that time to go sit with each other afterwards and talk and get all connected in the lobby bar of the hotel or whatever, right? That's what we create there, is this chance to connect and get contacts and names. And so that's happening Sunday night after the show, and again Tuesday night. So stay tuned. And also it's happening right now. It's happening all the time. That we realize that activation of the individual person. We're no longer in a place where we want content, right? That content is no longer king. Right now it's communication and conversation that's king, so that we can take those, everybody can be empowered, right? And everyone can make those next steps to do what you can do with your time and your treasure and your talent to help move this all important topic forward for all of us.
Thank you, Peter, so much
I think too that with Marty was saying with New York, so Marty, now you're part of Unity Earth with us, so we did the New York Convergence in New York City. The people are there. You just have to say what you need. We got Rick from We the World. We got Rick from We the World. We have the URI UN URI Circle with the URI United Religions Initiative UN NGO Cooperation Circle. We can call them in as well too. They are all more than willing to help. So we've got the New York peeps, so you tell us what you need in New York, we will pull it together. Unity Earth is a very large organization with so many organizations combined together, but all we got to do, and I got your back, girl. I got
thank
your
you.
back,
Well, they're
sister.
all a part of Black Sunday. That's the good news, is that, all of these networks, this is a collective. So they're already in, and we're going to, the audience will get a chance to meet a lot of them on Sunday, which I'm excited about. It's my first time playing on the playground with them. But at the end of the day, I'm still excited about this moment because it won't be the last time, because as long as there's somebody that needs help, we're going to keep showing up and we're going to continue to do what we do together. It's the only way we're going to make it. But the last thing that I would like to say, Scott, real quick, to everybody who has said yes to this, who's answered the call, it's so not about me. It's not about me. If I was removed today, I pray that Sunday still go on and do exactly what God intended for it to do. It is not about one person. It's not about two people. It's about all of us together. And that is the reason why even Black Lives Matter, as we hear the dynamics of, well, all lives matter. Of course they do. But I always leave with this story right here. Imagine if a teacher taking some kids on a field trip, and they was time to get back on the bus. And she goes, is everybody here? And they go, yes, we're all here. And then you run on back to school. Well, when she gets there and she counts the heads, she's missing two. Oh my goodness. They all are not here. Who are we missing? We're missing the two Black children. She's got to go back and get them because they all were not there. It's not so the fact that it's 2 Black children. It's the fact we said they all were there and they weren't. Right now, the Black children been left behind in the world. And in order for us all to show up, we all have to be on that bus. Come back and get us. We showing up on Sunday, August 9th for 12 hours, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come back and get us so we all can be there. Because Black lives matter too.
Mhm.
God bless you, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
in the spirit that it's everybody, not just those of us on this panel.
Yeah.
I want to read something that Monica, one of our listeners or watchers, wrote. Said, thank you for your words. I'm a nurse working with adolescents in a behavior and mental unit. And every week I have the privilege to work and talk to them and to know their trauma. They just need somebody that will listen to them and help them to build their self-esteem. So thank you, Monica.
Yes.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, all the different people watching. Thank you, Peter, for bringing us all together. Thank you, Pato, for putting aside a fun, glamorous career to do the work of your heart, the work of your community. Thank you, Antoinette, for hearing the call and picking up the staff, picking up the wall, picking up the wall of moms.
Rebuilding the
Wall
wall.
of mom. You know, and thank you, Dr. Marty, for what you're creating both with Black Sunday and the Ungun movement. We'll be there. I'm going to put a lot of attention on Sunday to that. And I really hope that all of you will come back and be on one or more of our shows down the line. It's just a blessing to get to know all of you.
Thank you.
And thank you, those watching the video replay. What are you going to do? You're going to share it. You're going to share this out like Antoinette talked about, like Dr. Marty talked about. We're going to share it out, okay?
Share it out.
That's what's
Everybody
great.
at the same time, share it out.
Right. And if you're
Yes.
feeling it right now, they've been live streaming the show for the last half hour on the conversation.cc. So the conversation, as we finish, the conversation will be continuing there. If you're feeling like jumping over, any of you watchers and listeners, the conversation.cc, come and join and put your voice, add your voice to the story, add your voice to this happening. That's happening.
To the happening. That's us, Peter.
That's us.
Straight to the conversation.cc right now.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you to my staff. My staff is going to be working really hard on Sunday for 12 hours straight. And
Thank you,
I
Ty.
appreciate that. I'm shouting them out right now. Thank you.
Ty and Marcus and
Ty and
others.
Marcus,
It's been great to
yes.
work with you guys.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Sunday.
Bye, Scott. Bye, Trish.
Sunday, be there, be square.
Pato, Antoinette, love you.
Love you, girl.
Peter.
Good job.